I'd like to welcome you, all of you again. Over the last 3 decades, on the journey of in search of the incredible, we push the limits of technology. We go above and beyond. In Central and Eastern Europe, we are within the top 3 consumer PC brands. And we are the leading gaming brand in the East EMEA. We are number 1 in most of the countries in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Thank you very much with the support. We're proud with our achievements in the countries, and today we still have the same passion to continuously to dream the undreamed and to create the uncreated. As we are passionate about technology, we have won 51,328 awards worldwide, driven by innovation and commitment to quality in the past decades. Behind the big success, we have a huge Asus team, more than 16,000 employees worldwide, and more than 5,000 world-class research and development engineers who help us to reach $13 billion revenue in 2017, and 2018 number is to come. Without further delay, let's check our latest incredible collection of PC and gaming products. Please join me to welcome Xi from Asus Design Center. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you, Benjamin, and hello, everyone. Welcome here, and thank you for making all the long way to Warsaw. My name is Si Chen, and I'm representing Asus Design Center. And today we have a lot of things to share with you, including some of the product details, a lot of design stories that we would like to share with you. So before I dig deep into the design, I would like to spend a moment on the next slide, which talks about our design philosophy overall as Asus and Asus Design Team. So for all of us around here, our design all starts from people. People are actually our greatest assets. Without people, design wouldn't be able to continue at all. So usually with this very strong passion in our mind, integrating with the macro trends and micro trends that we develop every year, we'll be able to know where the world is heading into, and then also we'll be able to develop design theme for 2019. The design theme for 2019 is called Return to the Essences. When we're communicating this essence for laptops, simply we're meaning for 2019, we're bringing you more minimal and cleaner design languages. And then also we'll be looking at what users really need in a laptop, either from physical or emotional level. So this essences will be communicating in 2 major different product lines. In Zenbook, it will be focusing on the essence of soul, which we want Zenbook to inspire the calmness and the peacefulness in your laptop. And then also for VivoBook is to talking about the essence of explorations, that we want VivoBook to inspire your braveness to let you embrace any possibilities in your life. So let's start with Zenbook. Zenbook, as you know, is a premium flagship icon of Asus product line. It is originally inspired by the high-end timepiece with fine portions and the luxurious details. And time here as a soft element in the story, that we simply want Zenbook to be an internal device that can stand the test of time. Very importantly to mention, Zenbook is to achieve the balance between power and beauty. And also we want the owners of Zenbook to sense the Zen that lies within. Zen is a sense of peace within you, where your consciousness is as calm as water, allowing you to focus and experience things purely as they are. So as you can see, Zenbook contains a lot of the design insights and stories behind. Let's take a look at the video next, which dates back to 2011 when the first Zenbook was born. In the video that you're going to see, there are a lot of the DNA that we still carry them and using them in the current and future ZenBooks. So let's enjoy the video. You can see this is truly an inspiring video that really reminds us how ZenBook has been together with us throughout the years, and also it has created various momentum. So today, in this special occasion, we would like to bring you another unforgettable moment that has sensed the essence of soul, which is the design theme for ZenBook in 2019. ZenBook as a device to evoke the inner peace and the calmness in your soul and life. Let's take a look at the video. In 2019, we have reached another perfection. I'm very excited to be here to introduce you the new ZenBook S13, which is another ZenBook evolved in power and beauty. The CNC milled aluminum unibody design makes the whole new ZenBook clean, minimal, and solid. You can also see it is born in a sophisticated color called Utopia Blue, as if it is extracted from the pureness and the innocence of a peaceful water. When you turn to the angle that you see, the beauty of ZenBook is frozen in time simply by the silver shine diamond cut borders. The diamond cut borders here is shining through the edge, ending at each crisp corners that complete an elegant outlook for ZenBook S13. From the appearance, you could also find the Asus's iconic spun metal finishes there reflecting, reminding you of still water mirroring your soul. The new ZenBook S13 owns the world's slimmest bezel that is reaching 97% screen-to-body ratio. Overall, we want you to see farther and the wider till the end of sky, but not sacrificing the camera at all. Unlike the other rivals, this year the top-mounted camera design is giving you the best video chatting experiences from the best upper angle. So that is meaning no more nose chatting. And then also there's another interesting add-on benefit from this top-mounted design position is that you can open the laptop seamlessly from this specific camera position. With the four-sided nano edge display design, we've made ZenBook S13 the world's smallest laptop with a large 13.9 inches display. So compared to the previous ZenBook, the overall footprint of the new ZenBook S13 is minimized to be 12.5% smaller than the previous one. So now you could easily fit it in your purse or in your briefcase, or no more trouble using that in a tiny tray table while traveling as well. So with ZenBook S13, the small size doesn't mean less power. So within this compact, thin and light design, we're giving you the NVIDIA graphic performance and then also the very latest Intel Core i7 processor. So in fact, ZenBook S13 is the world's smallest laptop that is only 12.9 millimeters and 1.1 kilograms. It is seriously a portable powerhouse that is giving you up to 15 hours battery life that you'll never need to leave behind wherever you go. So, aside from ZenBook S13, this year we're also introducing you another attractive option, which is the ZenBook 14, which you can see it shares the similar design value, similar design color called Utopia Blue, and then also the Asus's spun metal finish is there. There are two major differences you can see comparing to the ZenBook S13. The first major difference, you can see that when you open the laptop, which is the number pad feature, that you could easily switch between the touchpad to number pad with simply a click on the icon. And the even smarter thing for the number pad is the number pad can smartly senses your fingertip movement so that it knows whenever you're using a cursor or you're typing a number. So that is to say, you can still be using a traditional cursor mode while the number pad is activated. The other special feature to mention for the new ZenBook 14 is that within this thin and light design, it owns the quad speakers that is usually made possible only in larger size like 15 or 17 inches laptop. So the quad speakers are positioned upward facing and then also beneath the laptop. It's giving you actually the highest pitch from the top and the strongest bass from the bottom. So now you can receive an outstanding audio experiences certified by Harman Kardon, the music expert as well. So ZenBook 14 doesn't sacrifice the performance for size as well. Equipped it with the very latest 8th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, MX150 graphics, plus up to 16 gigs RAM and up to 1 terabyte SSD. ZenBook 14 delivers the power and the speed that you will need. Next, today, since everyone has arrived from far away, we would like to also mention another refreshing note, which is our ZenBook Classics in 14 inches. It is one of the important models sitting in the ZenBook line. So ZenBook Classics also owns the performance and the aesthetics at the same time. It also came from a beautiful story. From this image, what do you see? You see a broad, radiant sunset at the far horizon that has never changed throughout a million years. And this is a start where our designers see the start and the beginning of ZenBook Classic 14. You can see the screen is like the boundless slide. The keyboard is like the vast earth. In between that you find a rose gold decorative bar that is shining, is actually integrating with the antenna circuits. So it's giving you a great Wi-Fi reception from this wide angle. But it's also not just functionality. It also links back to your emotional level, where it reminds you the first light at the far horizon line. If you can see, the ZenBook Classic 14 is also reaching 92% screen to body ratio, which is promise you a great immersive experience for all of our users. It is also the world's smallest 14-inch laptop, so they can easily fit it in your purse. It is sized as of A4 paper and it only weighs 1.09 kilograms. If you look at the spec-wise, it also owns all of the tools that you need within this compact design, equipped it with the 8th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, together with the NVIDIA MX150 graphics, and then also 1 terabyte SSD. It also owns the number pad feature that we just mentioned earlier. It's giving you all of the performance, also the speed and the aesthetics that you will need in the Asus product line. So overall, you can see this is our ZenBook S13, ZenBook 14, and the ZenBook Classic. Next, let's enjoy an official product video focusing on the ZenBook S13. with the new ZenBooks. Next, another excitement to unveil in 2019, which is our new VivoBook series, another exciting thing. Previously, we talked about ZenBook to evoke the essence of soul. VivoBook here is to inspire you the braveness to let you embrace any adventures and possibilities in life. So what's the strong tagline this year? Say me. The new VivoBook series are for those who's active, edgy, and forward-thinking. From millions of personalities in the world, VivoBook has been helping its users to search their true selves through color. This year, we're introducing you a new transparent silver, a slate gray with a statement, and also to two other interesting colors I'm introducing you today. One of the colors is called Pika Blue. It is a color that travels from blue to purple spectrum. It is mystic and reflected. It's a color that shows surprises and sophistication. Another color called Coral Crush. It is, you can see, is a color that is gentle yet determined. It's a color coming from a pure innocence. It's also a symbol of hope and liveliness. So as you can see, as our world is getting flatter and more transparent, color as well are no longer gender specific. It is simply about the integrity we wanted to bring to the users, and then also which speaks the most for our users as well. As mentioned earlier, our design all starts from people. We specially designed VivoBook to be your true companion this year, simply from the hinge area that is in a curved shape, so that our users can take the new VivoBook series anywhere, anytime, with a comfortable and reliable handheld. And also, VivoBook are for the dreamers. We have specially designed the four-sided nano edge display that is reaching 88% screen-to-body ratio. That doesn't limit our users' imagination. When you open the laptop, you also find the Asus's notable design. The ErgoLift design is integrating in the laptop structure. So it is perfectly matching the hinge cap, giving you a good thermal dissipation and a good typing angle. But here, inside the laptop, you also find in the keyboard area, there's a dotted patterns rippling out in radius. That means we're also not sacrificing the details for every style owners. So overall, for a laptop like VivoBook that's been carried to anywhere, any places else, the more compact means more freedom. The new VivoBook series is calculated to be 7.6% smaller than the previous VivoBook, and it also owns all of the tools that you'll need to help our users every step of the way. With up to the very latest 8th Gen Intel Core i7 processor and the NVIDIA MX130 graphics, loaded up to 16 gigabytes RAM and up to 512 gigabytes SSD. The new VivoBook series is giving you super fast data performance and then also a large capacity that you will need in a productive day. Here also to mention the new VivoBook 15, also featuring the Intel Optane memory technology. That means in future your apps will load faster and also your multitasking day will feel smoother as well. So overall, this is all of our product details and also the design history and design insights and stories behind the new ZenBook S13, ZenBook 14, ZenBook Classic, and then also the VivoBook series. I hope you will enjoy all of the details behind. And overall, I would like to mention here, Asus as a collaborative team, we have been helping our users to achieve more in their work and life through our designs. And in future, we will continue to do so. Thank you very much for listening. And next, I'm going to hand my presentation to the next speaker, Phil, who is our design director, who will introduce you the design stories and product details behind ROG products. Thank you, and let's welcome Phil.
Thank you, C. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Phil Liang. I'm the design director of Asus Design Center. So today, I'm very excited to be here to share with you guys the design story of our new products. So let's get started. ROG's mission has always been producing the most innovative gaming solutions that enable the ultimate experience for gamers. And we believe that the ROG experience is comprised of these three pillars: brand culture, product, and community. And when we design for the ROG experience, we follow these three simple keywords: edgy, rebel, and fusion. Edgy is about innovation. We constantly think about innovations that can help gamers play better. Our AAS technology, the Active Aerodynamic System, is a good example. Also, our / product identity is the way we show the innovative spirit. It represents a clear separation between old and new, and it brings out brand new sensual experiences. Rebel is about attitude. When we design, we don't constrain ourselves with design norms. We create products that are asymmetrical, and by so doing brings out functional highlights as well as better performance. Contrast DCMF treatment is a way we celebrate our rebellious endeavors. Finally is fusion. Fusion is about reconstruction. So we always try to take the best from different worlds, mix them, and transform the result into a brand new thing. Of course, a better thing. Whether that be patterns that are a mixture of different culture, or the liquid cooling ducting that's originally from the car industry. So with these three keywords, we've developed many products that we're proud of. And today, like I said, I'm going to share with you two of our latest creations, the ROG Mothership and also the ROG Zephyrus S. Starting with the ultimate gaming solution, the ROG Mothership. The design of the ROG Mothership focuses on the needs of the game and hardware enthusiasts. These are the gamers who really know what they want, and they simply want the best, of the best, of the best. Yeah, very important, the best. So I have to mention it 3 times. Yeah. So how do we cope to their needs? We believe that these 3 extremes can be very attractive to them. Extreme performance, of course, extreme adaptiveness, and also extreme immersion. The idea and the name of the mothership came from the outer space mothership. So here, the mothership. So it is a very powerful ship that could deal with all kinds of missions, and yet is also agile and is able to deploy smaller ship to fulfill different mission scenarios. So this one is actually mothership's package. Just look at like an outer space mothership. So mothership is a 17-inch standing notebook that features a detachable and also foldable keyboard. In order to achieve the standing design, we make the entire mothership out of CNC process to have best control over precision and also solidity. So the entire mothership is carved out of solid aluminum pieces. So with the standing design, we're able to leverage the stack effect to make mothership a lot thinner than traditional clamshells with similar performance. So the space underneath the kickstand is designed to be both a thermal tunnel as well as a light tunnel. So cool air can enter the system from here and also from the back of the mothership, creating unbelievable cooling capability. It's very easy to use mothership. All you have to do is to unfold the keyboard and you're ready to go. However, we have an even better way for you to use it. If you play a lot of games like me, you probably also have noticed that when you play, your keyboard and your screen is most likely not parallel, right? Like this guy here and all the kids right there. These are not parallel, but you couldn't do this with traditional clamshell. So we designed the mothership to have this detachable and foldable keyboard, so you could place it however you like, and also it will give you more room for the mouse. And here are 4 scenarios that we imagine mothership can offer. The easiest scenario, so easy to use, and this one, you unfold the keyboard, you detach the keyboard, unfold it, and then it's better for your ergonomics. And here, we know that a lot of gamers prefer to use desktop mechanical keyboard. So if you want to do that, you can use that with mothership. And you could just save this keyboard elsewhere, and it wouldn't take up too much desk space. And finally is the optimal setup. So you have your own preferred keyboard, your mouse, and then also a large external monitor. And actually, mothership can support up to 3 external monitors. So it's quite impressive. Other than performance and ergonomics, mothership is designed to outperform all other clamshells when it comes to audio and video quality. So with the 4 front-facing speakers, together with its 144 Hz Full HD panel, the audio and video quality of mothership can truly impress you. So here I have a product video of the mothership. Let's take a look. So the next product I'm going to introduce is the Zephyrus S, the GX701. So this Zephyrus S is the latest member of our Zephyrus family. We focus on avid gamers who are looking for the best immersive gaming experience. And during our research, we found that a lot of them actually use their machines for both gaming and for working. That's why we designed our Zephyrus series to fulfill both scenarios. Okay. So that being said, the design of Zephyrus and also Zephyrus family focus on these 3 things. It has to have the best performance, it has to be a small footprint, and also we're thinking about how to elongate the battery life too, so you can have sufficient battery life. So Zephyrus S is the thinnest 17-inch gaming laptop that features the latest NVIDIA RTX 2080 with Max-Q. And just like other Zephyrus members, so its insane performance is enabled by the AAS, Active Aerodynamic System. Also, this Zephyrus S is equipped with a 17-inch narrow bezel panel with a quite impressive 81% screen-to-body ratio. And thanks to its narrow bezel design, the footprint of the Zephyrus S is actually small enough for you to carry around with a 15-inch laptop bag. And I would like to invite C here to do a quick demo. Yeah. So as you can see here, it's a 15-inch laptop bag, and our Zephyrus S fits perfectly into that backpack. Upside down. Yeah. Yes. So 15-inch bag, 17-inch laptop. Very impressive. Okay, thank you, Z. Yeah. So actually, Zephyrus S is 23% more compact and 40% thinner than average 17-inch laptop, gaming laptop. And for this Zephyrus S, we've also improved the physical interface by adding this volume roller, which you can roll up and down to control volume and click to mute. We believe it's a more intuitive way to use, and also it's easier for you to identify the status. Last but not least is the Aura Sync lighting on the C part. So now you have a RGB lighting logo, and you have per key lighting keyboard. So all these RGB lighting can change status according to your settings or according to gaming scenarios. So we believe that this does not only have emotional value, it also has functional value. So next, I would like to invite my colleague Sasha to come to the stage to share with you more about these two products from a technical aspect. And before that, let me show you a product video of the Zephyrus S. Thank you.
Excited to be here. I'm Sascha Krohn. I'm Senior Global Technical Marketing Manager of ROG Gaming Laptops and Gaming Desktops. And I just flew in from CES, so I'm a little bit jet lagged. I only slept for around 2 hours last night, so if I fall asleep, just throw something at me or just make some loud noise. So Phil did a really good job introducing the products. At CES, we showed our whole lineup. So we're refreshing the whole lineup. Obviously, RTX graphics in all our gaming laptops, 2080, 2080 Max-Q, 2070, and 2060. And the key models, our highlight models, are Mothership and the GX701 Zephyrus S. So let me first talk about the elephant in the room, our latest BFGD gaming monitor, 233-inch, 144 Hertz, 4K, and all of you guys will get one after the event. I wish. So yeah, for our ROG gaming laptops, we have 3 different series, and we have 3 different segments. We have the Strix series, which you probably know, the Scar 2 and the Hero 2. Those are targeted at esport gamers, performance gamers. And then we have the Zephyrus series, which you guys probably all know, our super slim, ultra portable gaming laptops, slimmest in the world. And then we have desktop replacements as well. So desktop replacements is something that most people don't use, and most people don't understand why it still exists and why people buy a desktop replacement laptop. Those really big, heavy, chunky laptops. And it's because there are still a lot of people that need that much performance, or that want that much performance. Maybe they don't need it, they just want it, and they can afford it. So if you want a lot of performance, you need a lot of cooling, you need a really big laptop for that, and it's also very durable, it lasts very long because of the big thermal module as well. So this market still exists. What ROG is all about is about innovation. We really want to innovate. We don't want to just iterate step by step by step, use the latest component. Everybody does that, right? We want to do more. We want to take a step further. So we try to think outside of the box and challenge the established rules and the established form factors. That's something you've seen for the Zephyrus series already. For Zephyrus, we moved the keyboard to the front of the laptop because we're thinking we really want to make the slimmest gaming laptop in the world. Not just a little bit slimmer, really make sure it's the slimmest in the world. And the way we did that is we moved the keyboard to the front so it always stays cool and it's more ergonomic as well. Once you have a slim laptop, the keyboard in the front is basically just like a chiclet keyboard on your desk. And that way we also have a lot more space above the keyboard then. We can dedicate that to cooling and draw in the cool air directly from the front. So now we sought out to innovate the desktop replacement form factor. And the way we do this is when you buy our laptops, when customers buy our laptops, we send you an email and ask you to register online for a longer warranty. And after a few months, we send you a survey and we ask you specifically, what do you like about this model and what do you not like? What would you like to improve? What about the display? What about the performance of the CPU, the GPU? What exactly are the key points that you would like to improve? And based on that, we identified that people with desktop replacement laptops, they would really like to have something that's more ergonomic and feels even more like a desktop. Like Phil explained, that's basically what we did with Mothership. You can adjust the panel however you want, you can adjust the keyboard however you want, and you can use your own keyboard. It's really a much better desktop replacement than a clamshell. So, you can see the screen can be reclined. It's a stepless reclining kickstand. You can pull it back up to 170 degrees, 127 degrees, any angle you want. You can tilt it to the left and to the right as well. You can move the keyboard around. You can fold it and make it feel just like a regular keyboard, or you can just completely replace it with your own keyboard, because everybody has their own preference, right? There's some people who swear on Cherry MX Red, other people are like, no, MX Brown is the best, or MX Clear. Everybody has a different preference. What's really cool about Mothership is that the whole system is CNC milled out of one big chunk of aluminum. That allows us to make Mothership 20 millimeters slimmer than our G703 Griffin, even though it has the same specs and the same performance. So you're looking at a Core i9-8950HK, factory overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz, 6-core CPU, and you can manually overclock it to 5 gigahertz or even higher. You have 64 GB DDR4 2800 megahertz. You have free SSDs in RAID 0. Now usually you'd think that's stupid. Why would you use free SSDs? Because with one high-end SSD these days, you can already max out the DMI bus between the PCH and the CPU, right? So the reason we did it is because we really wanted the fastest SSD performance. And we worked together with Intel to have a little tweak, a little trick that only we can do. It's exclusive to us. We are able to connect 2 of the SSDs directly to the CPU PCI Express lanes and 1 to the PCH. That way, instead of around 3,500 to 4,000 megabytes per second, we can get around 8,700 megabytes per second. So full PCI Express bandwidth, 3 SSDs in RAID 0. That's something that's unheard of. It's the fastest SSD speed in any laptop, any portable form factor, and even most desktops. Definitely a lot faster than mine at home. So to CNC this whole system, you can imagine, is pretty complicated. It takes around 20 hours and 114 steps just to make a single mothership. So you can imagine it's quite a challenge and takes a lot of time and costs a lot as well. So like Phil mentioned as well, people want the best of the best of the best of the best. For this kind of system, a desktop replacement, people want the best panel, the best memory, the best SSD, everything. And the panel we use, our AUO 144 Hz 3 millisecond G-Sync panel. This is a panel that we developed together with AUO. So we're really proud to work together with AUO Optronics for several years now. We developed the first 120 Hz portable IPS, mobile IPS panel with them. That's actually really challenging because there's already 120 Hz or 144 Hz IPS desktop monitors, but those use a different liquid crystal mix than what you use in a laptop. The power consumption of those IPS panels is much higher than you could use in a laptop. They use a much higher voltage as well. So we actually had to work with Merck, the chemical supplier for panel vendors, to create a completely new molecular structure of the liquid crystal that works at a lower voltage and can still switch at high frequencies. That's how we created the first IPS 120 Hz panel for laptops, then 144 Hz. Then we drove the response time down to 3 milliseconds. And now we're pushing even further. At CES, we've shown a 240 Hz panel. Right now, the fastest, the best gaming laptop panel you can have on the market, 144 Hz, 3 milliseconds in Mothership with G-Sync. And we have the fastest Wi-Fi as well. Wi-Fi 6, you guys probably heard, the Wi-Fi naming was changed. Originally it was a letter and it was a bit complicated. Some people don't understand it. So it was changed from Wi-Fi AX to Wi-Fi 6. The next standard, it's not iterated yet. It's not officially 100% baked, but we have it on Mothership already. 2.4 gigabits per second. And we have 2.5G LAN Ethernet built in as well. So the best of the best, the fastest Ethernet, the fastest Wi-Fi. We have 4 Wi-Fi antennas as well. The reason we use 4 Wi-Fi antennas, even though the solution can only use 2, the Wi-Fi chip can only use 2 antennas, is because Wi-Fi antennas are similar to smartphone antennas on your phone. You probably remember the antenna gate from a certain smartphone brand. If you hold the phone in a certain way, you get really poor reception. So that's actually similar for Wi-Fi as well. When you turn your laptop in a different angle, because Wi-Fi signals are pretty directional and they bounce off the walls and are reflected, depending on how you place your laptop on the table, the reception can be very good or very bad, especially if you're far away from the router or the switch. So by using 4 antennas, we're able to dynamically use the 2 that have the best signal. That way, no matter where you put your laptop and how you turn it around, you always have the best Wi-Fi signal. A really cool side effect of the standing form factor that makes it a lot more ergonomic is that it actually helps with cooling. So really cool. Instead of having to pull the air under the laptop, which is a lot of work, it's harder, it's more restricted for the airflow, we can pull the air in directly from the back. This also means that the air doesn't heat up slowly as it creeps under the laptop and gets warmer and warmer. We can pull it directly from the back into the fans, through the thermal module, and exhaust it to the top and to the side. That also means there's no warm air blowing on your hands or on your desk. It's all getting ventilated out of the system really quickly and you don't notice it at all. That means we can spin the fans at a lower speed. It's more quiet as well. And we also have a very intelligent layout for the thermal module. I don't have a laser pointer, so I'll just walk over here. This is the CPU right here, and you can see we have 4 heat pipes for the CPU. Now before you get super excited about the number of the heat pipes, let me tell you, the heat pipe number, the quantity, doesn't actually mean that much. More heat pipes don't necessarily mean better performance. You probably know that from desktop heatsinks as well. There are some desktop heatsinks that have a lot of heat pipes and they still don't perform well. And there are some heatsinks that only have few heat pipes, but they do really well. There's a big difference from one heat pipe to another. The thickness is just the superficial thing that everybody notices, but there's actually different internal structure. The thickness of the powder coating inside the heat pipe, how much liquid is inside, the pressure of the heat pipe, the material of the heat pipe chamber. There's a lot of different things that influence the performance of the heat pipe. If you actually just Google for heat pipes, you'll see that there's many different grades and versions of heat pipes that you can buy online for industrial purposes or just even for home use for tinkering around. So there's a big difference in heat pipes. We use the best heat pipes, top grade heat pipes, and we bend them in a very specific way, as few bends as possible to keep the maximum performance. And we use them in a very intelligent way, like I mentioned. So 2 of the heat pipes go to the top, 1 goes to the right, and the other one goes all the way over here to the left. The reason we do that is it allows us to move the heat and spread the heat out as much as possible. This way we can remove more heat and remove it faster than in any other way, and much better than our competitors. Why is that important? Well, if you can remove the heat quickly and you can remove more heat, you can get more performance. With our i9 8950HK, we get a Cinebench score of around 1650. Our competitor gets around 1400. And a certain fruit-themed laptop company has a professional model as well, a workstation laptop. They get around 1000 or 1100. I'm sure you heard about the news, right? Where they had to change the performance profile to get a little bit extra performance, but they're still only at 1100. We're at around 1650. And you can even overclock it and get a little bit higher than that. Another cool thing for the thermal solution in Mothership is we use LCP fans, which we actually developed and introduced for the Zephyrs. So when we set out to make the slimmest gaming laptop in the world, by the way, a lot of people we know don't care about having the slimmest gaming laptop in the world. Most people don't care about it, but there are people who want it. And the reason why we set out to make the slimmest gaming laptop in the world is because we have a lot of teams internally that focus on different parts of the laptop. You can imagine how big, I mean, Benjamin introduced the company, right? How many employees we have, how many engineers we have, thousands. So you can imagine all of them are dedicated to different parts of the laptop. A laptop is a whole computer. There's so many different parts. You need to make sure that they're all aligned. You need to make sure that they're all driving in the same direction. And the way to do that is you give them a clear goal. All of them have to pull in the same direction and go for one target. And the best way to do that is to set a very clear goal overarching for all the different teams. That's why we set out to make the slimmest gaming laptop in the world. And we're not the only ones who do that. Everybody's trying to make the slimmest gaming laptop in the world, right? We're just the ones that came out on top and still come out on top. So the reason we do that as well is a little bit like NASA or Formula One. You try to push technology to the limit. You try to have your engineers think outside of the box. Not just make small steps, but really think long term. How can we make a big jump? How can we make a big improvement? For fans, that meant looking for different materials. To make the laptop super slim, you have to use different materials to make the fan super slim. LCP stands for liquid crystal polymer. That's essentially a fancy plastic. What it means is that this plastic has very long chain molecules, and when you inject it under very high temperature and high pressure and let it slowly cool down, all the molecules in the plastic slowly interlink with each other and form a crystal structure. Because of this crystal structure, the plastic becomes much harder than regular plastic. So you know, most consumer electronics are made from ABS plastic. It's very soft, easy to break, easy to bend. Then there's POM, there's PBT, used for keycaps, for keyboards, maybe you know about that. And this is a different kind of plastic as well, very rigid. Because the plastic is so hard, it allows us to make the fan blades thinner. And the thinner you can make the fan blades, the more fan blades you can have on the fan. So as a result, you can push more air. You have higher airflow and higher air pressure. Once you push more air, you need more power as well, because the motor needs more energy to push the fan. That's why we're going for 12-volt motors instead of regular laptops using 5-volt motors. So this all combines and comes together to have much better thermal performance. Really cool because we introduced it with our Zephyrus, the slimmest gaming laptop in the world, and now we're using that innovation that we developed there to create the most high-end laptop on the market. That just shows you how much you can learn when you try to push technology to the limit and when you try to innovate. That's what RG is all about. We also have a self-cleaning cooling system, dust release. For those of you who remember the G752, that was the first model that had this technology. It's a patented technology, only we have it, and we use it in all our models now. We introduced it with the G752, our hero model at the time, and we now have it across the whole lineup. Essentially it works like the Dyson vacuum cleaner. You have a vortex. You move the air in a circle, and dust is heavier than the air, so it gets pushed out to the edge of the chamber. So as the fan spins in this direction, the dust gets pushed out to the corner, to the edge, gets pushed along the chamber, and here we have a dedicated channel where we can push all the dust out of the laptop. So if the dust doesn't get stuck in the fins, here you would have the fins of the heatsink. Since the dust doesn't get stuck here, even after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you can still push air through the fins really easily. You have lower temperatures and lower fan noise. So that enhances the lifetime of your laptop. Really cool, again, across the whole lineup of our gaming laptops, we have 3 different performance modes. Now on the picture you see there's 3 fans, but it's not just fan speed. We don't just have low fan speed, medium, and high fan speed. Something like 5 volt, 7 volt, and 12 volt. That's not what this is about. This is kind of what it looks like, but that's not really what we do. There's different TDP and TGP targets for the CPU and the GPU. For CPU it's called TDP, for the GPU it's called TGP. Basically the way it works nowadays is you just dedicate a certain amount of power to the CPU or the GPU, and it will automatically run at the highest possible performance, the highest possible clock speed. Back in the days, you guys probably remember, you had to manually overclock, you had to manually set the target, and the GPU and the CPU would always run just fixed at that frequency. Nowadays, they manage their speed dynamically, based on the performance target, based on the power target you give them. So what we do with this, thanks to NVIDIA's technology, is we can set different performance targets for different modes. And we can create one mode that is under 35 decibels. You can still get really high performance on this mode. It's really impressive. It's not like you're only limited to 30 FPS. If you're playing CSGO or Overwatch, you can still get 144 FPS steady with this silent mode, depending on the GPU you're using. Depending on the game you're playing, you get around, and depending on the GPU you're using, in silent mode you still get up to 90%, up to 99% of the performance as you get in regular mode. Our standard mode we limit to under 45 dB because we did a lot of research and we found in surveys and user studies that that's the fan noise level that most people still feel comfortable with. And then we have our turbo mode where we set everything to the max because there are a lot of people who just want the best performance. They don't care about the fan noise. They put on a headset to play games. They don't care if it bothers anybody else. They just want to play games. They want the best temperatures and the best performance. And this is very important because all of you have a different preference, right? Some of you might not really care that much about the fan noise. Other people, some of you might have a really nice, quiet apartment and you don't want to hear any fan noise at all. Or maybe right now you don't care about it, but then somebody comes over and you don't want to bother them, so then you want to switch to silent mode. Or you're in the university and suddenly other people are very quiet and you don't want to cause any distraction. You don't want people to look at you. So you can switch to silent mode, and nobody will even notice that you're doing something on your laptop. Really cool on Mothership as well, we have a Windows Hello IR camera. You don't have to swipe your finger, no fingerprint sensor, you don't have to type in any passwords, you just sit in front of the system and it locks you in automatically. And it's a 1080p camera as well, so really high resolution. Audio-wise, you probably noticed already because of the RGB lighting, we have a built-in soundbar under the display, 4 speakers, 16 watt performance, 16 watt output in total. It's really loud. You really don't have to bring external speakers when you have Mothership with you. And a very cool side effect, we have RGB lighting built into the soundbar, which you can turn off, because I know a lot of you guys don't like RGB lighting. It can all be turned off. Very cool side effect, we did not anticipate it, but the membranes of the speakers, they actually absorb light in certain light frequencies, certain wavelengths. They absorb the light. So depending on the color of the RGB light, the membrane is glowing in a different color. So you can actually see the membranes. That's very interesting. If you want to take pictures of it, you just wait until it cycles through the color so you can actually see the membrane through the grill. So let me sum up all the specs for Mothership again. Core i9, 8950HK, 4.8 GHz, factory overclock. So that's the speed that we guarantee. That's the speed that it runs at when you get it, you set it up. You can manually overclock it to 5 GHz or even higher, depending on the temperature, depending on the quality of your silicon, right? Silicon lottery. RTX 2080, and this is not a Max-Q RTX 2080. It's the full RTX 2080, 180 watts, so full performance. 64 GB DDR4 2800 MHz memory, 4 memory slots. Like I explained, RAID 0, 3 SSDs in RAID 0, up to 8700 megabytes per second in SSD bandwidth, and all the bells and whistles. 4 Wi-Fi antennas, Wi-Fi 6, 2.5G Ethernet. The keyboard automatically switches to wireless mode when you detach it. It's 2.4 gigahertz, ultra low latency wireless. It's not Bluetooth because of latency problems. And it has Thunderbolt 3 as well. The high-speed DP Thunderbolt 3 controller, so with full 4 lanes, you can have an external graphics card at full performance. You're not limited by the PCI Express lanes or by the Thunderbolt lanes. It has an SD card, full-size SD card reader, which I think some of you guys really care about as well. So yeah, everything maxed out pretty much. Next, let me talk about the Zephyrus series. So like I mentioned, when we created the Zephyrus series, and that's interesting, that was only 18 months ago when we introduced the first Zephyrus, the GX501. So you can imagine, it's really interesting how fast we iterated and innovated, how fast we improved from just the first Zephyrus until today. That was only 18 months ago. Here you see the GX501. Then we introduced the GX531, the Zephyrus S, and now we're introducing the Zephyrus S GX701. The Zephyrus S GX531, slimmest 15-inch gaming laptop in the world, is now getting refreshed with a 2080 as well. 14.9 millimeters slim, all metal chassis, 2.1 kilos, with an RTX 2080. And the GX701, slimmest 17-inch gaming laptop in the world, 18.7 millimeters, also all metal chassis, and also with an RTX 2080. Full aluminum chassis, some parts are aluminum, some parts are magnesium aluminum alloy. So really expensive, really premium material. And the very cool thing is, if you look at the original Zephyrus, the dimensions, like Phil mentioned, are actually, of the GX701, actually very similar to a 15-inch laptop. And if you put the GX501 and the GX701 side by side, they're almost the same form factor. But now you're getting a 17-inch panel instead of a 15-inch panel. You're getting a 144 Hz 3 millisecond panel instead of a 120, 25 millisecond panel. And you're getting a 2080 instead of a 1080. So if you think about, again, in 18 months, how fast things have improved, how fast we've innovated and improved, it's really impressive. And when you look at the systems and when you pick them up, especially the GX531, only 2.1 kilos, 14.9 millimeters, just picture an RTX graphics card next to it. The weight and the volume are almost identical, but you have the whole system. You have a built-in gaming desktop monitor pretty much. So it's really impressive. 17-inch and a 15-inch form factor, super slim bezels. Again, 144 Hz, 3 milliseconds AUO panel we developed together with AU Optronics. And that's 3 milliseconds gray-to-gray average gray-to-gray latency. We don't use the best gray-to-gray latency like some other competitors out there. We actually measure a 9x9 matrix, so 9 different brightness settings, switching to 9 different brightness settings. And we use the average transition time from pixel to pixel. And that's 3 milliseconds. So most transitions are actually notably faster than that. Really, really fast. 81% screen-to-body ratio, 80.7 millimeters, full metal chassis. Like Phil explained, we have a volume roller. The story behind this is, you know, on our other gaming laptops, we have hotkeys. Because the first thing you usually do when you play games, you adjust the volume, right? It's too loud or it's too quiet. Every game has a different volume setting. You watch some YouTube videos, listen to some music, so you constantly change the volume setting. So you're constantly looking for hotkeys to change the volume. The problem is, when you have a really slim gaming laptop like this, having extra keys is actually a problem because space is at a premium. You don't have a lot of space. Every space you want to dedicate to a key, you have to take away from the thermal module, take it away from the battery. We don't want to do that, right? So we created a volume wheel, which basically allows us to do the same thing like several hotkeys. It's much more intuitive. You just swipe up, swipe down, you press on it to mute and unmute. It has a built-in LED as well. It's a CNC metal part as well, and it's fully custom made. We didn't just use a ready solution from some manufacturer. We didn't just use a volume wheel from a mouse, like a scroll wheel or something. It's a fully made custom part. Like I mentioned, all about innovation. And we have Aura lighting. Again, for all you RGB fans out there, if you don't like it, you can turn it off. For the people who don't like it, if you do like it, we support Aura Sync. So keyboard, mouse, headset, monitor, laptop, you can sync it all up. It can all be changing in the same color at the same time. And we now work with game publishers. So Call of Duty Black Ops 4, we have an exclusive partnership with them. If you play Call of Duty Black Ops 4, all your peripherals, all your Aura peripherals can react to what happens in the game. So if somebody sets you on fire, the keyboard, the headset, the mouse, everything is going to glow like you're on fire. And if somebody shoots you, everything is going to flash in red. So it's going to be a lot more immersive as well. So we're trying to do something really useful, really interesting, something more immersive with RGB, and not just have it flash in different colors. So here you can see how it looks. All the peripherals synced at the same time, changing colors. New to our panels now, they're now Pantone certified as well. We calibrate them and they're Pantone certified. I think you guys especially know what it means and what the benefit is. Average users might not really know or understand, but I think you guys all know that's a really nice feature to have. The panels being calibrated, more accurate, and colors looking nicer. I don't know how much you know about G-Sync and Optimus, so let me give you a quick introduction. Basically, G-Sync is similar to V-Sync. You don't have any screen tearing, but the problem with V-Sync is that it adds latency. It adds mouse click input or keyboard input to what actually happens on the screen. It adds a small latency. With G-Sync, there's no added input latency. And you don't have any of the screen tearing. And there's no game stutter either, because you're not back pressuring the GPU. That means G-Sync is a lot smoother, and you don't have any screen tearing. You have the best possible visual experience. Now, there are a lot of people out there who cannot see the difference between G-Sync on and G-Sync off. A lot of people cannot see it. A lot of people also cannot see the difference between 120 Hz and 144 Hz. But I think a lot of you guys can see the difference and do know the difference. If you have used it for a while, if you have played games at 144 Hz for a while and you go back to 120, you can see the difference. You can feel the difference. And it's the same for G-Sync. If you've used G-Sync for a while and you go back to no G-Sync or to V-Sync, you can definitely feel the difference. It's a little bit like red wine. For people who don't know about it, I always say it's like red wine. If you don't drink red wine, you don't know about red wine, somebody could offer you the most expensive red wine in the world. and you could not tell the difference from the cheapest red wine from the supermarket around the corner. It's both red wine. You'll be like, okay, it tastes good. You can't tell the difference. But if you drink red wine regularly and you know a good red wine, you can tell the difference. And it's similar with G-Sync. It's similar with high refresh rate monitors. So G-Sync is really cool. Ideally, you want G-Sync, right? It's the best visual experience. If you can afford it, if you want the best, you want G-Sync. The problem with G-Sync is the GPU has to be wired directly to the panel. It has to send the signal directly to the built-in panel. That means your GPU has to be powered on all the time, even if you're not using it. Even if you're just browsing YouTube, watching videos, browsing Facebook, the GPU has to be powered, so your battery life gets worse and worse. That's where NVIDIA introduced Optimus. Optimus allows the GPU to send the display signal to the Intel integrated graphics and then to the panel. So if you don't need the discrete GPU, the NVIDIA GPU, it can just turn off completely. So, because of the layout, you have to choose. Either you have G-Sync and you have the best visual experience, or you can have Optimus and you can have longer battery life. What we did is we created our own hardware switch solution that reroutes the display signal depending on what you want. You can either have G-Sync and the display signal goes directly from the GPU to the panel, or you can reroute the signal to the integrated graphics and then to the panel, so you have Optimus. You can have long battery life and you can have G-Sync. So you can have your cake and you can eat it too. And that's something we have on our GX701, and for those of you who remember, we introduced it on the GM501. We also have this on Mothership. Mothership has a bigger battery built in as well, 90 watt hours, and GX701 has a 76 watt hour battery. So you're looking at around 5 to 6 hour Wi-Fi browsing. And that's a conservative estimate. It's not like a special scenario. But you guys will see when you get the samples for testing. AAS, you all know AAS. Phil introduced it as well. We use ultra-thin copper fins, 0.1 millimeter slim, thanks to a new technology that allows us to press them even thinner than before. As a result, we can have more fins in the same area, so a bigger surface area. And again, we use LCP fans, which we introduced and developed for the Zephyrus models. We have our self-cleaning dust release system. We have the 3 performance modes to let you choose whichever you prefer in the current situation. And we have smart amps, 2 smart amps, and speakers facing up straight at you for better quality, better sound. And the built-in volume wheel, of course. Something else that's really unique and cool about GX701 Zephyrus S, we have an external webcam. The reason we did this is because you probably notice a lot of people put stickers on their webcam. They don't actually use their webcam. We did a lot of surveys and user interviews, and we found most people don't use the webcam in their gaming laptop. They put a sticker on it. Some people do actually use the webcam and care about the webcam, but they don't use the built-in webcam. They use an external one, because the quality of the built-in one is not good enough. So instead of having a built-in camera that is not really that good, we decided to make a really great webcam and make it external. Because we identified that people have different preferences for where they want the webcam to be. So GC21, you can mount it to the center, to the left, to the right. It also comes with a solid aluminum stand. You can place it on the desk, place it on a shelf, and it has a tripod mount as well. So you can actually mount it on a tripod, have it in any angle that you want. And it's not just any webcam, it's a 1080p 60 FPS webcam with built-in beamforming microphones with hardware accelerated background noise cancellation. So there's a chip in there that measures which of the 2 microphones picks up the sound louder and which picks it up first, and then based on that information removes background noise that is not directly centered in front of the webcam. Wave 2 Wi-Fi, so according to the new denomination, that's Wi-Fi 5, 1.73 gigabits per second. Wi-Fi range boost, all the new Zephyrus models. So the RTX refresh for both the Zephyrus S 15-inch GX531 and 17-inch GX701, they both have Wi-Fi range boost now. And personally, my favorite feature about, again, both of the new Zephyrus models with RTX graphics, we now support Type-C charging. Unfortunately, you cannot run the system at full performance over Type-C. The total system consumption is still 280 watts. You still need a 280 watt adapter. And you don't want to compromise on performance, right? So why do we support Type-C charging? Well, you need that much performance, you need that much power when you're playing games. But most of the time, according to our surveys and interviews, that's when you're at home. That's when you're in one place. That's where you're playing games. So that's where you can have the big and heavy adapter. Once you go outside to work, to university, to meet your friends, you're probably not going to play games. That's when you care about battery life. That's when you care about having a lightweight adapter. So in those scenarios, you can bring a really small, compact, lightweight Type-C charger and use that to keep your laptop powered and charged. Those small Type-C chargers weigh around 150 grams and they can charge up to 65 watts. There's even chargers for 99 watts as well. USB Type-C charging usually uses the PD standard, USB power delivery. That actually means most Type-C chargers don't support PD. We didn't want you guys to go out, or we didn't want our customers as well to go out and find that their Type-C charger is not compatible. Their Type-C charger is not actually PD certified. So we added something on top of the PD standard, and we made sure it works with any Type-C charger. As a matter of fact, you can use a 10-year-old smartphone charger, a 5 watts, 5 volt, 1 amp, like those really old smartphone chargers. You can use that with a Type-C cable, Type A to Type-C, and you can power and charge your Zephyrus laptop. So it's only going to be 5 watts. But let's say you run out of battery. You plug it in overnight, and the next morning, you're at 100%, maybe 80%. But that is still enough to actually recharge your laptop. And most of the time when you're doing something on the go, you're probably only using 40 watts, 30 watts. You're just browsing the web. The system consumption is only around 30 to 40 watts. So if you have a 45 watt Type-C charger, you plug it in Starbucks, you basically never run out of battery. So let me sum up again. The GX701 Zephyrus S, the whole specs, 17-inch laptop in a 15-inch form factor, super slim bezels, best gaming laptop panel on the market, 8750H Core i7, 2080 Max-Q GPU, RTX 2080, up to 1 terabyte of storage, Wi-Fi range boost, Wi-Fi 5, perky RGB lighting, 3 times brighter than the 4-zone lighting on the GX531. Looks really nice, even in a well-lit environment, it really stands out. Volume wheel, super cool. The touchpad, numpad, really cool. And the Type-C charging. And 80.7 millimeter thickness, full metal chassis, magnesium aluminum alloy, and 2.67 kilos. I think that's all the specs. Right, and after this, we have a cool surprise outside in the igloo on the balcony. So you guys are now free. You can get up and walk around. And sorry it took a while. I hope this was interesting for you. This was informative. We are all still here, so if you have any questions about the ZenBooks, you can ask C. If you have questions about the RG stuff, you can ask me or Phil. Enjoy your time.